The links to John channel here are on Subscribestar. Thanks to the recent members to the live streaming computing fund, which will happen. I think Black Friday is a good time to get a computer, and I will start live streaming immediately after, and probably be kicked off YouTube. And you think, oh, you're just such an edgy boy. You're so hyperbolic. Um, yeah, wait and see. Where'd the channel go? It's gone. Oh, I guess he wasn't being hyperbolic. Yeah, probably. It is what it is. Like, you know, everything. I'm probably better suited to Odyssey and Shing anyway. So a very tricky video to make because it's kind of a high risk, low reward, because with the comment section and the dog whistles, and YouTube algorithm knows, they know all the dog whistles, and it just gets the channel yeeted. So like there are people, there's the YouTube map, the digital map, and there are blank spots on the map where they go, here there be dragons, where people just won't cover certain topics because, you know, it's a full-time gig for these people. They're making, you know, they're in the golden cage where there's no point in covering topics that will just get you kicked off, demonetized. It's like it doesn't make sense for them, which sucks because Google is absolutely controlling this narrative. So for even small channels like this, you know, the comment section, like you just, like, YouTube knows all the dog whistles, so they just like to figure, you know what, it's not worth even covering it, a hot topic like this. And it's like, on the face of it, what do you mean? It's not a hot topic. It's on the face of it. It's just a, I don't know, HBO show or something. I don't know where this thing is broadcast. It's just some comic book thing. It's like, yeah, that's the surface level. And then there's whales, and then there's sharks, and then there's megalodons swimming in the deeper waters, and that the comment section will try to bring to light, which is, I mean, that's old YouTube that allowed that kind of stuff. Dog whistles. It just, nowadays it's like, so there's people just won't make these videos, or you'll, like, Nerdrotic is a master at making some videos and not making others, and then he's got his mods on the comment section. It's like they're just going through constantly, like, here's a list of hot words that they have banned, and then they got the mods who are going through, like, at that level you pay people to mod your comment section, because you get like 3,000 comments and they have to go through every single one of them, and, you know, 30 of them have to be deleted to keep the channel in the right light with YouTube. It's like, it is what it is. So I mean, that's kind of a long preamble to make this video, which I look at now. It's like, is it even worth making? High risk, no reward video. Yes, because it is important that you know what these people think of you and how they use the hair color and the eye color, which is something, I know it sounds almost schizophrenic or OCD to obsess on these two physical features of people. But I'm trying to put the They Live glasses. It's that fight scene. He struggles. It's like a long fight scene because he's trying to put the glasses on, and he's trying to say, it's like, that's what it's like to get people to wear the glasses, and see, like, for the past 50 years, this portrayal of blonde-haired, red-haired, green-eyed, blue-eyed people. Oh, it really is like what they say it is like. That's what the They Live fight scene. It's like, that's why it's a 10-minute fight scene, which is because to get people to notice the correlation between hair color where visible, eye color, or at least skin tones, who's protagonist, who's the antagonist, and what characteristics are associated with them. And once you see it, you never unsee it. And the next issue I wanted to ask is, what effect does it have on society when Hollywood has been, for the past at least 50 years, though it's, you know, so slowly boiling stochastic frog terrorism over the past 50, 60 years, where they slowly increase the heat of portraying blonde-haired, blue-eyed, red-haired, green-eyed people. People watch TV and they get, I mean, there's a reason they call it programming. They get programmed by this narrative, and they don't know what is truth and what is false. Like, consciously, if you ask them, they would know it. But then when you ask them, like, oh, how do you know, what's your opinion on this topic? You get the opinion. Then you go, how do you know, where did you learn all the information? They go, oh, from TV and from movies. And you have to bring it to your attention. You have this opinion of, like, the South. Everything I learned about the South, I learned from Hollywood and from 80s movies. So you don't know anything about the South. Oh, I guess you're right. I know what Hollywood wants me to know about the South. The corrupt, small-town, blue-eyed sheriff who's blonde-haired, and he's, or the guy in the Ford F-150, and he's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, or red-haired, green-eyed, and he's got a rifle rack and the stars and bars, and he's the most dangerous person on Earth. He's the most dangerous person in the South, because Hollywood told me that those people. So you don't. we don't. I mean, when you get to a certain age, you start awakening to this. You have your awakening moment, and you realize like Hollywood wants you to have a certain narrative, and like they've turned up the heat so much over the past 10 years that people are finally waking up to this kind of stuff. So what effect does it have on society where obviously the people of the light, blonde haired, red haired, whatever, Christians, conservatives, and obviously those evil Trump supporters, at least nowadays, when they have been portrayed as evil I mean like biblically satanically evil for the past 50 years, when there's a bad guy and there's a good guy who has to be the moral authority and who has to be the fall guy. It's like, think back to movies you've seen your entire life. Start noticing this correlation. That's a Hollywood narrative. Don't say anything in the comments, for the love of God. There's more to it. So he makes this comment about F MAGA. That's not an issue. Or I mean, if F MAGA is an issue. If he said F America, or not F America, if he said F Trump, F the deplorables, F the Republicans, conservatives, that's one thing. If he said F MAGA, make America great again, that's a weird thing for Kripke to say, because it makes it sound like you're saying F America, which he definitely is. But if he was called to the carpet, he would not admit that. But that's what he's saying. Obviously, the character's dislike for Trump, of course, who's I think also happens to be blonde, and the Homelander character is blonde haired, loosely analog for Trump. But he said F MAGA, not just F Trump, not just the deplorables. You want to alienate a third of the country. That's not as big a deal. But he said F MAGA. So my point is, what effect does it have on society where this, obviously the Hugo Boss is the issue for them, where they're blonde-haired, blue-eyed, green-haired, green-eyed people are evil for 50 years, where you go, oh, what about the horrors of communism? The famines in Ukraine, Russia, China, the atrocities in Southeast Asia, the deletion fields, the atrocities in Cuba, Central America, like all the Bolsheviks. Like, what about the horrors of the Bolsheviks? And you look up movies, don't say anything in the comments, and it show like comparing the Bolshevik atrocities, which were 1,000 times anything else, but you don't see it. There's like 2 movies, and they're not in the mainstream. They're on Odyssey, Bit Chute, World Tree Video, Gab TV, because they're not allowed on the mainstream. Or maybe there's a handful of independently produced movies. But how many videos do you see of the other narrative? And there's thousands of them. So kids grow up, like, how do you get Antifa and BLM? Well, you get years of brainwashing. Kids grow up with this narrative of, oh, we need to fight the fashionable ones. They're the real danger. And you try to bring them a stack of books, and they go, no, they're not. You've been lied to. Hollywood lied to you. Here's the books. Read the books. Take 6 months and read these books. They lied to you. Hollywood lied to you. But the softer, gentler path for them is Hollywood, is the moving images. And like consciously, if you ask them, they would know that, oh yeah, it's fiction. It's all fiction, but it's based in some reality. And you go, no, it's not. It's just moving images on a screen. What happens if they lie to you? Who holds them accountable? There are literally people to the left of the bell curve who think the moving images on the screen are pushing an accurate narrative. Don't say anything in the comments. So this one thing he says, obviously the Hugo Boss obsession, but also his incandescent hatred for people of European descent. So it's European male victimization. Substitute, not in the comment section, anything other, because, I hesitate to even make this video. I don't know if I should now. It's not just the president, and it's not just people right at the political bell curve, Republicans who are like conservatives, right? There are no Republicans, there are no conservatives because they don't conserve anything. Or Trump. Like, no, Trump's actually to the left because he moves the country to the left. And if he gets reelected, he will continue to move the country to the left. It's his and Hollywood's incandescent hatred of European people. And we're getting very close to a point where people can start discussing this openly. But you realize, oh, well, most of these discussions are happening on Facebook, Google's networks, Twitter, though Twitter's, what exactly Musk is going to do with that. And if you're losing your mind, you're on the right and you're losing your mind, give the guy a few months. Give him a few months to change transition teams to his team, and then you'll see what happens. And ultimately, Google and Apple run the app stores. 90% of app traffic goes through there. And you go, oh, gee, what about our 535 representatives to do some kind of antitrust thing to protect political discrimination? Yeah, hold your breath on that one, friendo. So much to say. I don't even know about this video, mainly because, I'm like losing my mind trying to make these videos that stay within the navigational guidelines. And two, the comment section, like I know if I beg, if I say it, I know you'll be good, but I don't know. I mean, like everyone knows what's going on here. Like everyone is on board. Everyone knows what's going on here. Or if you really don't know what's going on, go to Telegram. Go to the Telegram. Wanderer will answer all your questions. You just add him, which is asking a lot, but maybe I could cash app him like $10 to answer your questions. If you really don't know what's going on, I've started to stop this video. I'm just losing my mind trying to do this. I don't know. Like a couple years ago, I don't know how long I've been on YouTube. I was making these videos, and even like 2 years ago, it was a different environment where now the YouTube environment has changed so much. Holy shit, it has changed so much. I don't know. Let me try this again.